This is a problem with these PNP supporters.
Lord Jesus. Alright now, PNP. When you can't stop here now, election done and gone already. When you can't stop preaching doom and gloom there because the wickedest time me ever face in a Jamaica and in a PNP time. Cause nothing at all never they are fixing there. So why you don't feel like say you don't have the authority? Me see man we come out we say my man of God. We come on a chat. Say God tell him this and God tell him that, and see it a different thing. So more have to know warm to them people that we go in church now. If them still are gonna believe in a them pastor man then. So all I people them support PNP. You can't stop preaching doom and gloom over Jamaica. Accept defeat. Accept it. PNP, they in a minority and Labour right there in a majority in Jamaica. If you know, just accept that. That's how you know how to do. And just stop coming with no foolishness. Stop coming with foolishness. You're not tired. Come on, man. Every day I so talk good thing about Jamaica, man. Come on. Choose Jamaica same.
My people, we need to talk. Oftentimes in life, we come to a point where we need to call things out for what they really are and stop pretending we don't know. All this drama you see surrounding the NARA bill is mostly symptomatic of fear. From the moment Dr. Holness presented the NARA idea, Mark Golding and the PNP developed NARA-phobia. NARA-phobia is the fear that a streamlined, efficient recovery process will make the current administration look too good. It would give the JLP an insurmountable legacy that would be hard to surpass, or even equal. It's a fear that a successful NARA will make Dr. Holness and the JLP the most impactful Prime Minister and government in Jamaica's history. It would dwarf everything we have done developmentally to date. The fear is real. It's a real fear to the PNP and those aligned to their cause. NARA-phobia is real. Because its development is recent, NARA-phobia has not yet been added to the Diagnostic Statistic Manual of Mental Disorder. Fortunately, our awareness of and attention to mental health in Jamaica has been growing appreciatively. It is important that we understand mental illnesses so we are better able to relate to those who are affected around us. In that respect, I will share some of the signs to look for in those struggling with NARA-phobia. Here are the diagnostic features of NARA-phobia. 1. Acute proceduritis. Acute proceduritis. This is an obsessive need to send every urgent reconstruction project to a joint select committee for further study until 2029. And this manifests itself in A. Focus on putting up procedural hurdles. B. Exaggerated attention to procedure while fully blind to outcome. The second diagnostic feature is success anxiety. This is an extreme nervousness at the thought of a streamlined authority actually fixing roads, building houses, putting in modern community amenities and infrastructures ahead of schedule. Frequent calls for delays, nitpicking clauses of the NARA bill, as we saw in Parliament, and endless call for unnecessary consultation. The third diagnostic feature is bureaucracy dependence. This is a physical inability to function without layers of red tape that normally stall national projects. And you can see this manifesting itself in how the opposition would ignore effective existing oversight mechanisms. They can't function without bureaucratic red tape. Mr. Golding and the PNP are hell-bent on pouring sand in the engine of NARA. They are not worried about corruption. They are not worried about NARA failing to deliver. Oh no. They low-key want it to fail because if it succeeds, it destroys the PNP and the opposition politically. But they are caught in a project-driven election trap. You see, the Jamaican voters respond positively to tangible, visible progress. People want to see new roads, houses, modern community amenities, and infrastructure. If NARA allows the Dr. Holness administration to bypass traditional red tape and finish nation building projects in record time, the JLP could enter the next election cycle with an unbeatable "look what we built" campaign. For Mark Golding and the PNP, the fear is that NARA is not just a reconstruction tool, but a re-election machine to be feared. You see, opposition parties generally do well when the economy is struggling or recovery is slow. If the government successfully uses NARA to make Jamaica more resilient and prosperous, the PNP loses its strongest talking point. If the reconstruction actually works, the opposition's claims of government incompetence would fall on deaf ears, potentially sidelining them for at least a generation. But the PNP face the risk of being called obstructionists, which they have manifested. The PNP has a tight rope to walk. There's a fine line between principled oversight and blocking recovery. If the government successfully implements NARA, it will paint the opposition as a party that did not support the very instrument of law that rebuilt Jamaica and put roofs on the houses of Jamaicans. In this sense, the PNP would have committed political suicide unassisted by the government. Having voted against the NARA bill, the PNP has effectively tied its political fortune to the failure of the reconstruction effort. In other words, they have placed their bet against the success of Jamaica. Success for the country becomes a failure for their campaign narrative. Jamaica's loss is their gain, and that cannot be a good place to be. What this means for the PNP is that they will now have to commit themselves to taking every opportunity to sabotage NARA's progress by locking in on a campaign of downplaying any sign of progress with NARA. This would be similar to their campaign to discredit the JLP government on its success on crime and murders in particular. If NARA succeeds, the government will benefit from a natural gratitude effect that the opposition simply cannot counter. This is called gratitude psychology. Gratitude psychology, in the political context, is the study of how receiving tangible personal benefits from government creates durable emotional loyalty that goes beyond abstract policy preferences. It is particularly strong in disaster recovery scenarios like NARA. People will always remember who replaced their roof, who built their new home, who gave them modern facilities, who gave them health centers, who gave them new roads and modern community amenities. The PNP is clearly paralyzed by NARA phobia. and they are fully aware of this psychology of gratitude. They know it will inevitably benefit the government once NARA is implemented successfully. Still, the opposition's biggest fear might be that NARA creates a new way of governing that excludes them entirely. If the government can bypass the usual parliamentary checks and balances to get things done, the opposition becomes a spectator in the reconstruction of the country. To be shut out like this is even more horrifying for Mr. Mark Golding. You see, from day one of this new term for the government, Mark Golding has agitated for inclusion in government decisions. It is his way of appearing prime ministerial. However, the JLP has studiously refused to give him that platform. Mark Golding's future as leader of the PNP rests on the outcome of NARA. If he is still the leader in the next election due in 2030, the country will be whispering the question: if he was wrong about this, what else is he wrong about? The same question will be asked of the PNP MPs, whose constituencies will be rebuilt by NARA. If they were wrong about this, what else are they wrong about? No politician wants to be put in this position to explain why they did not vote for a bill that would transform their constituents' lives. You are losing when you have to explain. Constituency politics in Jamaica is personal. Being on the wrong side of visible delivery is a slow political poison. It is very difficult to shake off the label of being seen as the party that tried to stop progress once the buildings are standing and the lights are back on. If NARA succeeds, the government going into the next general election can say, look at what we built, while the PNP will be stuck with, we did not even support the bill. The PNP is in a pickle. It is facing political death, at worst, or at least an extended period of wandering in the political wilderness. In my last video, I told you that while the people were giving PNP Marley Malahoo Fort a standing ovation in the parliament, the script for their political funeral procession was being written. NARA has passed through the lower house and will be passed in the upper house for certain. Here is what it comes down to. As the rebuilding of Jamaica begins, there will be a plethora of claims coming from the opposition. There will be numerous claims of corruption, each coming with its own flavor and style. Propaganda will form the daily diet of PNP bloggers, and not one of them will be complimentary, even in the face of an effective reconstruction program. So let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. If NARA succeeds, Jamaica and the JLP win. If NARA fails, Jamaica loses, and the PNP will say, I told you so, and possibly claim a Pyrrhic victory. For you and me, we want Jamaica to win. We choose Jamaica above all else. We say success to NARA and Jamaica land we love. Thank you for stopping by. Please like, follow, and share. Thank you.
Yeah, you see, blood clad PNP them as a whole wicked them. You hear me tell you? From the root go right back the blood clad stem. You see how them come out and talk about this and that and Andrew Holness and it was a reckless move by government to end any 50-year contract with the Cubans, the Cuban government. By you know, the government did not end, you know, like the government say, oh, me no want no Cuban doctor in my country. The government end this because, and this should have ended long fucking time ago. This should not even be a thing. We should have never the peer oppression, people for oppress other people, brother. That's a fucking problem. We should have never be paying the government of Cuba no money for these workers like a slavery. This is modern day slavery. Regardless of the fuck we don't want to say. This government, how the fuck a worker if work $1,200 US and they only get $200 out of it for themselves living in a fucking foreign country, brother. Eh? And you can't tell me about this is a communist country, this state. Move them blood. Jamaica should never, that's an extortion. Because the people them coming to your country come work. You better say, yo, we get, Jamaica government should pay for them service, but the people get them pay. How the fuck? You pay for them to work, and if you live off of rice and them bum buck like that, the people them can't survive. The people, me never see a Cuban yet a drive in a Jamaica. So the article where say you didn't allow to drive in a country, which then can't afford to drive in the first place because if they have to live off of rice and then something then. The people cannot take no private job. You do your overtime and the government get 50% of your overtime, brother. I don't know what tell me say that name if end. The only thing about this when it end long time ago. Because when I listen to clippings of Michael Manley, this motherfucker was also a communist. Like, I want to be great here them will help make Jamaica be what it is today. But I want a man will set back Jamaica as well with some fuck with long deal when making an early stage. I want a man them where make Jamaica be what they know, fight for we and sitting there. So we can't disrespect where we are come from, but we have to admit he has communist views as well. He has those type of views as well. He never want on two-party thing. Him we want to run this one way. We want to run this like how Cuba run. And them, that's why I make that stupid deal with them. The people, they better have the Cuban people and oppression, brother, and it a help fund the money the way all these other people they pay the Cuban government for their workers. A help fund the help make them can do what they might do right now, and it is not right. So me kind of happy because the people them. I wish the government can negotiate some terms with the Cuban workers them, the doctors and the teachers them. Negotiate some things where make them can stay in our country and work. But the point still mean you have to go back to your home country, to your family, them and everybody today. Unless you have a plan to abandon everybody. Because then go forbid you from see your own family, you know. Fuck. And if you go back, you they go to jail. If you go back, they might arrest your ass lad over Cuba there. So I like the people them getting us this up and say, oh, me not go back, and when they feel like but then go back, I up to 7 to 8 years in a prison for that. And then can get more. Cause then the people over there say normal, brother. So I don't understand how PNP just jump up, me see them a contact, and journalists are wicked, and journalists don't care about Jamaica people, and journalists are this. Brother, I best thing man do. I asked with US pressure, you will have to do a win-win situation that we only hope so we can find some way to help maximize back, put back the health structure with party when the but me I tell you now, PNP in power for how much years and never see nothing wrong with that, and still at this point still not see nothing wrong with that. It talk volume of our character, brother. You that want to do the same thing to Jamaican people. You that want to have one type of way the same way. That's why they get up every day and tell about poor and love poor people and not for poor people. That's why they get up every day and they talking there. Because you don't want to keep blood clot poor so you can control it. You don't want to keep poor for control that you don't want to do. It not going to work, brother. You can't win back the next blood clot election this. I tell you that.
Like PNP, People's National Party. Wanna get the idea, say, the Jamaican Labour Party afraid of nobody? Like, where did that come from? We're not afraid of nobody. We're just not like war and violence, which is what you guys seemingly resort to. Like the 1 and 2 and 3 people in my comment section where comment, like, seriously, you think that the Jamaican Labour Party is intellectual or we're blind or something? You think that we can't calculate and use with cognitive abilities to see where are going in the country? Una go tell us that Andrew T. Where Andrew T from Uno? But just want to know. Like Uno say all these things and Una say, oh, road na fix. Which country in the world Uno can de where under any government it don't have challenges? Andrew is not a magician. What we're saying is that we have seen progress. Progress. Am I saying that, okay, there's nothing in Jamaica that wants to be fixed? Heck no. I can't say that about any world in the country. Get it? Any country in the world. What we're saying is that since the man has been in power, we can see the difference. We're not blind. The problem is that I believe, based on history, the PNP, them licky, and like when the man them can come on the corner and guna $100 and guna 2 bills and something and don't have to work. That was always the problem with the People's National Party. Uno don't like work. Why? Handout. See una anya. Uno don't believe say uno can get up and work. It's just like when the man did just a win and him did same speech say, look here, before Jamaica get better, we have to go tighten up certain things. I did hate him. And him say him don't want to owe the IMF and all of these things. Look here, I'm a lot of things, but I read and I retain information and knowledge. Listen, move up, man. Move up and make the man breed, man. Everybody come, oh, Andrew a thief and him a thief, people pension. You never there pension age. Which pension him thief for you? Show me. Say it. Put it in the comment. Let me see it. When thief? When thief? For you. Like, come on, man. Breeze the man. Breeze the man. Wanna lift up and left the man alone. Because on the don't honest, the amount of changes will happen in Jamaica slowly, you know, but surely, little by little, me as the changes. People in my comment section as the changes. So when I see the little comments, then when I want to make a little snarky comments, please. One of them going to tell me say, oh, more educated people in the PNP party than the Jamaican Labour Party, which is why when the PNP did under power for so long, over 18 years, Jamaica should have did better because we did have more educated people since we dunce. We are done smart. It should have did better. Now when the dunce people them are run the country, it better. When Uno did brighter, Uno should have done more. I go pray. Uno don't upset my spirit. Don't upset my spirit. For now, come on my comment section. Come with logic. But don't come with bad mind. No.
Chairman of the Jamaica Labour Party's communication unit, Senator Abka Fitzhenley, is accusing the opposition PNP of seeking to denigrate House Speaker Juliet Holness. Senator Fitzhenley made the claim in a statement to the media on Tuesday afternoon. Siobhan Campbell reports.
Senator Fitzhenley says the opposition believes that the fact it has 28 members in the House of Representatives means it and not the House Speaker is in charge of the proceedings in Parliament.
I have been observing parliamentary proceedings in Jamaica for over 2 decades now, and the level of lack of discipline and disregard for the guidelines of the parliament that is being displayed by this current Mark Golding-led opposition PNP is the most severe I've seen it for a long time. The opposition has sought to turn the most honorable Juliet Holness, Speaker of the House, into a scapegoat because they cannot get away unfettered with this level of heightened lack of discipline, which they insist on imposing on the parliamentary proceedings.
Senator Fitzhenley says the House Speaker is the victim of a deliberate campaign of disrespect and denigration by opposition MPs. He says opposition MPs are taking their cue from their leader, Mark Golding.
What is most disappointing is that the opposition leader has led the way in the display of lack of discipline. Last week, he was first on his feet when the marshal was directed to do his duties, which he has the authority to under the standing orders of the parliament. And this week, he insisted on raising a point of order, accusing a minister of misleading the parliament. When those of us who are in the parliament and observe parliament know that is not provided for in the standing orders which govern the operations of the parliament.
Senator Fitzhenley says the defense by the PNP of the Mace shenanigans of Southwest St. Andrew MP Dr. Angela Brown-Burke is additional evidence that the opposition believes it's above the rules of parliament.
What is clear is that because the opposition cannot get their way and trespass upon the guidelines concerning how a good functioning parliament should operate, they have sought to denigrate and bully the Speaker. I actually heard an opposition member refer to Mrs. Holness whilst Dr. Holness was making his contribution to the budget debate in the most derogatory and insulting manner, a word not fit for airplay that some people use to refer to women. Their conduct has been most obscene and should be condemned.
Senator Fitzhenley says the opposition must be told that its attempts to undermine the rules of parliament are damaging to the democracy.
Every parliamentarian who takes the time to look at the standing orders knows that a personal statement shall not be made concerning a matter that is controversial. Philip Paulwell knows this, Mark Golding knows this, Mrs. Brown-Burke knows this. However, they have put out a statement seeking to denigrate the Speaker and the Parliament of Jamaica for not allowing them to breach the very guidelines of the Parliament. The statement put out by the PNP is another indicator of their feeling that they are above the law, above the guidelines which govern the Parliament. That statement they put out is a total disgrace.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The pattern is clear that it's not just that the work is delayed, but there's uneven implementation of the Spark program, shifting commitments, poor coordination, and growing frustration from communities. I want to spend just a moment before we take the questions to highlight that in the second component of the Spark program, which is supposed to deal with the main road programs, the government is pushing to start that aspect. What we learned at the PAAC is that there are certain criteria that will qualify main roads to be selected by NWA. Some of those criteria include important buildings, roads that connect to other constituencies, high volume roads. So what that means is that in constituencies that are remote, such as South St. James, areas in Southeast St. Mary, in Central St. Mary, even in Central Westmoreland and Central Hanover, Western Hanover, roads will not likely get on this part of Spark because they don't meet the criteria that Spark has set out for the second phase of its program. So communities are being overlooked under Spark 1 and will also be overlooked again under Spark 1A. I also want to spend 1 second to reaffirm the opposition's commitment to any program that transparently and builds in accountability to ensure that people get the services they deserve in this country. So are we against Spark? Not at all. The opposition wants Spark to work. We need Spark to work. We get the complaints. We have to be sitting with the constituents and saying, please, don't block the road, because we want the program to work. We're asking the government to be fair, to be realistic, and to be able to adjust where the need arises, because right now Spark needs an injection, and if that doesn't come soon, then I don't know how long we can keep the people from blocking the roads. We're going to open the floor for questions. If you are online, please indicate by using the raised hand icon. If you're in the room and you have a question, please indicate by raising your hand. Then when you get the microphone, state your name, your organization, and proceed with your question after you have been identified. While we wait for the phone lines to open, I want to say to the residents in South St. James, Bottom Road, Cambridge, Richmond Hill to Mafuta, Brothers Retreat, Horse Guards, Catskin, Malden Road, Brissett Road, Old School Road in Niagara, Old Jackson Road, Comfort Hall to Wales Pond Road. Help us to get the message to the government that you need Spark to actually come to these communities, because you were promised and you're looking for Spark to come to their community.
And this is pertaining to the statements he made in St. Thomas recently. I played them this morning regarding access to the beach, access to land here in Jamaica. So my first question is to Andrew Holness, and I hope someone will tell him. He's probably listening. If he's not, then I hope someone will pass it on. One of the issues, and it's really not a problem, but one of the issues that we face here at the Africa Forum is that no one from the Jamaica Labour Party will accept an invitation to come on this program. And so we have to throw these questions out like this. Matter of fact, my producer was told by Robert Morgan a few months back, probably over a year, that Andrew Holness would never come on this program. So congratulations to all of you. But here we go. Mr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, are there no provisions in your government for the people of Jamaica to enjoy recreational spaces such as the beach without having to provide in those spaces such as the beach jobs for others? Because this is what you said. Them are going on a job, then creating a job for you, run them. That's basically what you're saying to us. So the question is, are there no provisions in your government for the people of Jamaica to enjoy recreational spaces such as the beach without having to provide in those recreational spaces such as the beach jobs for other people? Do you have any idea, Andrew Holness, of the role that recreational spaces such as the beach play in the physical, mental, social, and environmental health of a nation and its citizens, especially the second most murderous nation in the world? Do you know the extent to which recreational spaces such as the beach contribute to the quality of life of the citizens? Do you have any idea, or do you even care? Or are we just beasts of no nation, good only for your voting pleasure, and then to be discarded before you hoover us up again every 5 years or so with your mouth full of promises and lies like an abusive husband? Questions for the Prime Minister. Andrew Holness, to what extent do you and your government allow for recreational issues to be discussed and included in your development plans for this country? Or do you even care? Question for Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Do you even care whether Jamaicans have access to the sea, to the beaches, and public access to the beaches from Negril Point to Morant Point? Do you even care that this access is being denied to Jamaicans? Do you even care? And yet you have the temerity, the boldness to stand up in your official capacity as Prime Minister and lie to the Jamaican people that your government is not in the business of selling beaches. I put it to you that that is semantics. Our lived experiences are otherwise. We do not have access. It means that your government is selling the beach. It is semantics. Public beaches serve a number of local and regional functions. Do you care? Do you know that in some communities, the beach has been the community park? And do you know that the reason why we're losing this kind of communal commensality and turning to scamming and all kinds of things is that over time, there has been a lack of access because of high entrance fees or just it lock off from way because government sell the land, which was Crown land, which we don't know how you get that in the first place to be your land. Question for the Prime Minister. Do you really not know that Jamaicans are being denied access to the shoreline from Negril Point to Morant Point? Do you really not know that Jamaicans have little or no right of access to almost all of the beaches that we formerly had access to when you became Prime Minister for the first time? Or do you really not care for the truth in this matter? I invite you and Robert Morgan, your flying monkey, and your team, as our brother said from Jabem last week, to get out of your tinted SUVs, bulletproof tinted SUVs in one of the most murderous countries in the world, and walk along the coastline and see how many beaches you can access without your ID or anyone recognizing you. Question for the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, because he will not come on this program. What has caused you, a young man from the people, to take this hardline decision to sell out the people of Jamaica in the name of tourism, neoliberalism, and all kinds of isms and schisms? Question for Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Do you really not know that Jamaicans are losing both the vertical access, that is the access to the shoreline, and the lateral access along the shoreline at a rate akin to apartheid South Africa's retake of South Africa? Do you really not know that in a country such as Jamaica, the second most murderous country in the world, where living is a game of chance and a game of luck, that our beaches provide a multitude of benefits to us that could most possibly cut back on some of the domestic violence that you have? Do you not know that research has shown that beaches provide leisure in the form of recreational activities and relaxation, meditation, take our minds off the harsh times? the hard times. That beaches improve our overall health and act as cooling circles in this high-pressured, high-stressed country. That beaches create economic opportunities from fishing to local tourism where the people are included. That beaches improve people's mental health and spiritual well-being. Do you really not know? Or is it that you do not care? Why are you gaslighting the nation? Mr. Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, I put it to you that the theft of the Jamaican beaches from the Jamaican people and the denial of access to the Jamaican people and your subsequent lies and gaslighting are all rooted in racism, colorism, historical inequities deeply rooted in segregation and racial discrimination and exclusion that you have.
Praise be to God, amen. Greetings, everyone. Prophetess Sasha Peart Mills. I got a vision from the Lord regarding the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Right Honorable Andrew Holness. In this vision, there was a room full of people. In the room, there was a young lady, and there was you. You both were flirting with each other, but no one really noticed. The dream then moved from there, and then you both came into a room. In the room, there was a blue couch, a blue settee, as Jamaica would call it, or Jamaicans would call it. You both sat on the couch. You then hold your head in your hands, and you were very emotional. And she turned to you and said, "Mr. Prime Minister, are you okay?" You said, "No, there's a lot going on in your head." He's like, "It's just too much, you can't take anymore." During that process, while the both of you were sitting on the couch, you then lie down, placing in a position that you are lying in her lap. So your part of your body is on the couch, but from your upper torso is on her lap. But you didn't place your head fully down on her. I noticed that specifically in the dream, that you didn't place your head on her. You were holding your head upward firmly. In that process, the room became full of people, and people were seeing what the both of you were doing, because you were both in a compromising position. She said to you, "Sir, you want me to cover you up so that the people don't see you with me? Or what do you want me to do?" You turned to her and you said, "No, I don't want to be covered up. I don't care." The people begins to take pictures, and there was just a lot of things going on in the room. I just want to say this to you, sir. I don't know your situation, but you're a man that I greatly respect because you're a leader. But I ask of you to walk carefully, tread carefully, and do whatever you do carefully. And make sure, above all, walk in the ways of God Almighty Jehovah. I am praying for you that this will not be an exposure of shame and disgrace upon you, your household, and your cabinet. God bless you. And I hope Jamaica will pray for you as well. Shalom. God has spoken.
Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Delroy Chuck says opposition leader Mark Golding has still not responded to a letter inviting him to discuss matters concerning constitutional reform at the so-called Vale Royal talks. Minister Chuck made the revelation while speaking on Cliffviews Online on Tuesday during OPM On Air.
The leader of the opposition wrote a long letter that he wants a meeting with the Prime Minister, not with me. The Prime Minister responded to him, to the best of my recollection, over 6 pages, setting out what their constitutional reform has been and indicating when you're ready we can have a Vale Royal talk. So that is well known that the Prime Minister said he is prepared to have a Vale Royal talk on constitutional reform. He has not heard one single word from the leader of the opposition. I have asked the leader of the opposition. He has not responded to that letter? Responded to that letter. So it's 2 letters the Prime Minister wrote him.
Jamaica's transition to a republic has faced several setbacks. Last year, the opposition PNP withdrew from the Constitutional Reform Committee. This after opposition leader Mark Golding criticized Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness for not stating his position on the country's final court of appeal. Golding also rejected a letter from Dr. Holness, which directed him to speak with Minister Chuck on constitutional matters. At that time, Minister Chuck said the concerns raised by the PNP could only be addressed through dialogue. Minister Chuck says 2 letters have been sent to Mark Golding. He is questioning if the opposition leader is waiting for a 3rd invitation to respond.
I've seen the leader of the opposition and say, when can we talk, or when are you going to talk to the Prime Minister about the Vale Royal talk? I don't know if he's expected the Prime Minister to write him a 3rd letter. But the letter was written to the leader of the opposition to say, at an appropriate time, we can have a Vale Royal talk. He has not responded to that 2nd letter to this day. I've openly in Parliament said, let's get on with constitutional reform. And by the way, I'm getting on with it. I am looking at the report, well-documented report, which made many recommendations. And I've asked a team that work with former Minister Ford to look at those recommendations that we can implement. But the truth of the matter is, unless you have consensus, you're not going to achieve much.
Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
On the very day that the opposition PNP held a press conference to grandstand, exploit the post-hurricane relief and recovery bureaucracy, peddling falsehoods in relation to the roofs program, including the embarrassing untruth that Labour and Social Security Minister was away in Finland. Mr. President, opposition leader Mark Golding stood in the Parliament and called for a joint select committee on this very NARA bill that we're debating this evening. So they lament the pace of post-hurricane relief and recovery in the morning, and by mid-afternoon they are in the Parliament calling for something that would only further delay the pace of the very relief and recovery they are bemoaning. What can go so, Mr. President?
Good night, Mr. Andrew Holness. This is Serene Sinclair original work at Ruby's. I've been working at Ruby's from Wappy Kill Philip, and you see one say you look out for low income earners, and I know none of the workers that can achieve one house. Me pay what me I get them bank turn me down and say me pay what me I get cannot work. So I want to know what you do for the workers. I work at gas station, I work at supermarket, I work at wholesale. What are you doing for those people, young people, who want to own somewhere? You're not ready yet. Serene Sinclair original says so, you're not ready yet. You need to look out for the people that work at gas station, supermarket, wholesale. Helper, you need to look out for them people there. School canteen yes. Workers we can't have where them pay. But whenever a bank say them money can't buy house. And yet still want to say 1 year we qualify to get money to us. Mr. Holness, you need to look out for the poor and stop look out for the rich. Serene Sinclair original say that. Court.
Jamaica, watch this.
Parliament Farms. Well, listen, thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Totally disrespectful, despicable, and uncivilized. Yes, regardless of The political indifference. This man is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. This man is walking around, vetting through, laying water pipes throughout communities. He has invested the most in relation to communities getting water. Communities by communities, pipe by pipe. And this is a disrespect this man is getting. Just because of political indifference, just because of the lie, the seed of hatred, this man, Mr. Mark Gold and Peter Bunting and the others has planted in these people's hearts. This is it. It can't get more worse than this, Jamaica. And I could bring this information across. That community, Mr. Bobby Pickerskill was MP for 31 years. 31 years. And did not bring water to them. Mr. Pickerskill was at one point the Minister of Water and Work and did nothing for that community. And this is a disrespect the Prime Minister is getting after. He explained to this lady that the pipe work is being laid from community to community, so eventually the water can reach to them. This is the hatred the PNP, the risers, are planted into these people's heart.
My people, my people, my people. Worries. When me say worries, me mean worries. So Damien was silent because he didn't have the finances for run against Mark Golden for the leader of the what? People's National Party. But we can talk it from existent and we can talk it from now. And guess what? Coming 2027, the next 2 years from now. And this is what I like about the People's National Party. Them will know if you keep them out. Peter Bunting, you, come at the front. Come at the front. Because you and Mark Golden, a business partner, I know a body I come from long time. You try push up Nikisha Burchell for contest Mark Gold in the next 2 years. Yes, we hear it. We hear it. Because them a push Nikisha Burchell for be what? The next Portia Simpson. Quote unquote. BBL. Bunting side piece. Bunting what? Call girl. Cool. So, how is it that you say you are Marky J a friend, but yet still you are going to push up Nikisha to go head to head with Marky J in 2027? That's why them always tell you, say, you know, snake. You say snake? Them always tell you, say, you know, I don't want them to know you, quick for stab you in you. The one them to know you and know your inner details and know your secret. Quick for the what? In at the back. Peter Bunting, we are watching you. And that challenge we are promised for push Burchell for 2027 is a very orchestrated challenge. And it seems like it's going to be something very good and something very entertaining for the political landscape. But guess what? Worries. I say worries in the dance. Worries what? Worries what? Bunting at the helm of it. Marky G, you need to watch your back. Because I'm going to stab you, and when him stab you, you're going to turn over, because guess what? Bunting wants to become the president of what? The People's National Party. But him can't challenge you because you are him a friend. So he might push up him side piece to come challenge you when? For 2027. Remember, we say it in 2025. Look out for it. But worries and worries and worries.
This is a problem with these PNP supporters. They are so gullible and so easily penetrated and propagated. You don't have no sense, brother. You don't have no brain for yourself, no analytical skill. If you understand simple phrase and word terminology, the Prime Minister did not call the PNP dogs. He did not. In fact, the Prime Minister used a common used metaphor. Dog chasing cars, as he was referring to the heads of the PNP as someone or something pursuing something without knowing what to do if they actually achieve it. It suggests reckless ambition or impulsive action without a clear plan. And that is what the PNP administration has been doing throughout their political campaign. You have one man up make plan for this and the next one basically contradict it, especially in relation to the food feeding programs in school. They do not know or have a good, coherent, clear plan in relation to bring forth them manifesto to Jamaica. So that is what the Prime Minister was referring to. Please learn common word phrases and stop being gullible and so penetrated. Know what a metaphor means. Please. God bless. Rumble Showman Rumble.
Hi, wagwan, beautiful people of Jamaica. Guys, I love you so much. Because, guys, you really support me. And I don't take that support for granted, by the way. So, in today's video, we are going to talk about two topics mainly. And that is, can Mark Golding, the opposition leader, really beat Andrew Holness in case they run for the Prime Minister seat now? So, of course, in this, we are going to relate it to a couple of videos that had been posted earlier. And again, what we are going to talk about is about Jamaicans, what they think about Mark Golding. So I hope you are all doing well. Thank you, guys. I'll never stop saying thank you to you for all the support and the love that you have always showed us in this channel. So every day people are talking, but for us, we always listen to Jamaicans talking about their issues and trying to analyze them. So as you can see, we just came from another election, and I can tell you that the next election is slowly building up. As soon as an election ends, there are those who start the journey of the next election again. That's what normally happens. And the big question is, in the next coming general elections in Jamaica, can Mark Golding really beat Andrew Holness in the ballot? And that's a very good question to ask now, like few years before the election comes in, because I understand it's a 5-year term. So the question is so popular among Jamaicans, not just within PNP support system, but also across the JLP support system. Some PNP supporters are actually asking that question at the moment as we speak. And the conversation is getting intense everywhere, even from the clips that we just played here. That's the conversation. People are talking about leadership in Jamaica. They are questioning trust, or probably they're discussing the trust that exists between the common citizens and also the leadership. Always they do talk about economy, they do talk about the security of the country and whether Jamaica is ready for change. Even the cost of living, they always talk about it, and that is why in our video, each and every day, like, we talk about these items. So I can honestly tell you that Jamaicans are asking whether Jamaica is ready for change, because when they come out and discuss this election thing, things feel kind of different. At the moment, people are so frustrated and cautious, by the way. They are saying that they are tired of the current government. We are in 2026. The current government was just elected like 1 year. It's not yet even 1 year, but they're in their second term. And I can tell you that we also have Jamaicans who are saying that they cannot fully trust the opposition. And that is where Mark Golding, the opposition leader, faces his biggest challenge, the trust issue. I mean, the party, the opposition is not really getting enough attention in terms of convincing the undecided Jamaicans, and especially among the young voters or the Gen Z voters. Remember, they are around 18, 20s there by now, and it's becoming difficult for PNP to maneuver and go through the young voters. And also we have these voters that are really struggling and they just want a solution for their problems. And also PNP has a problem there, like they don't know how to get into them and win them. You know, if you are running for any election, like you just wanna get into everywhere and capture their minds, their loyalty, and they're going to vote for you. So right now, the Jamaica's political atmosphere feels kind of divided. Although we saw somebody in the clip saying that many people are talking against JLP, but those are only in social media. In the ground, 70% support JLP, while 30%, those are the people that do go to the ballot booths and vote. So this discussion at the moment, it has not yet exploded, but you know, it's kind of tensed situation when it comes to now election time. Although that is the time and moment that everything gets to explode. So so many people are like watching really closely as the economy remains the same, and it remains to be one of the items that is being talked about so much. If you talk about the cost of food prices, if you talk about the cost of rent, the cost of transportation, the cost of bills, you know, Jamaicans are surviving, they're not actually living from the look of things. So many Jamaicans feel like everyday life becomes either and other instead of becoming better and easier to survive. So it's unfortunate that even when the government comes out and says that the economy is improving and getting better, Jamaicans are still struggling. And you know, that disconnect alone that happens between the voters and the government, it matters so much more so politically. Because, you know, according to statistics and reality, these two things, they don't always feel the same to ordinary people. Statistics and reality. Government will always base their report on statistics. But the common citizen, the normal Jamaican citizens, will actually be on the side of reality. If I go to the shop now, what price will be, or what will be the cost of flour? What will be the cost of fuel? What will be the cost of rent? You know, those are the things that matters to a Jamaican citizen. So the Prime Minister is Honorable Andrew Holness has always defended his administration's economic direction. And he has always come out to point out and discuss and talk about debt reduction. He always comes out to talk about infrastructure growth. He comes out to talk about crime reduction efforts. But I can tell you, in every situation, there has to be those that don't support you, or those that we call positive criticizers, positive criticism, if I may say. And these are the people that come out and they talk about what they're facing. They're saying that they're still struggling as much as you're talking about, growth and debt reduction. Like, yeah, so many things are happening that are good, but why are we the same? So again, some of the things that the Prime Minister, His Excellency Andrew Holness, normally talks about is the fact that things are becoming affordable. And, according to a normal Jamaican citizen in the Jamaican in St. Elizabeth, in Montego Bay, to them, this just feels like a dream because the reality is something very different. On the idea that too many Jamaicans are being left behind, it's chaotic. We've seen so many speeches, or rather, we've had so many speeches and public appearances whereby the opposition leader, Mark Golding, has come out and said that only a small group of Jamaicans are truly benefiting economically, which is true, by the way, because the rich in Jamaica are way less than the poor. I mean, the poor are so many and the struggling ones are so many compared to the rich ones. So if you look at the message itself, it like connects to, or it connects with many people like 100%. Especially if you come out and speak in social media spaces, it connects with a Jamaican down there, But again, as much as the opposition leaders come out to say that, this particular issue of the economy, it's only few people that are benefiting, we will have those that will be like, no, they're not telling the truth. The economy has come down. But remember, a Jamaican citizen doesn't really depend on statistics. They want reality. So, of course, some will say that the opposition leader is intelligent or sounds intelligent, is more connected to the people, but not emotionally powerful enough. There are so many things that comes out of the mind of people once you ask them some questions. So imagine we have Jamaicans who are saying that the opposition leader, Mark Golding, appears to be too calm, too technical, too professional, too corporate. And that doesn't resonate well politically with the people of Jamaica, especially Jamaica being a third world country or island. People are fond of confidence, energy, connection, presence. I mean, many political commentators have always come out to say that, if you want to be loved politically, be confident, be energetic, be connected to the people, and have presence in the ground. So you will see that most people will have this belief that the opposition leader, Mark Golding, has not yet fully convinced so many Jamaicans that he is ready to lead Jamaica. So they are very simple things, by the way, but they play a major role in people having confidence in you. And you'll be surprised even to see some PNP supporters admitting this privately, but then publicly they fully support their person. And they do that not because they hate Mark Golding, it's because they are actually nervous about the election and everything to do with that. So communication style is another aspect that has really hindered the prime minister's election, prime minister's position, or something like that. Like it has hindered the election of Mark Golding. So you will see many Jamaicans coming out to talk about PNP, the stronghold, and him not being able to get like the 100% votes like the JLP strongholds, whereby they do get almost 100%. So on some occasions, we have seen the opposition leader strongly criticizing Andrew Holness of the controversial story of salary increment to the members of parliament only and not the common Jamaican citizen. He has also severally come out to talk about the government's dishonesty. He has come out to frame some issues as proof that politicians are disconnected from the struggling citizens. But you see, this is the exact thing that Jamaicans are, accusing him of. Again, is like totally disconnected to the people. If you see Andrew Holness on the other end, for him, if it's coming back, he does it aggressively. And, if he tries to come out and criticize the opposition leader, he will come out talking of his hypocrisy with confidence, with the energy. I mean, what will happen after that? Anyway, it's also astonishing and shocking that the Prime Minister would come out and say that. You see some PNP supporters, privately they come out and do support the salary increment, like secretly, but criticizes it publicly. So that's hypocrisy. And when you talked about that, I can tell you that everybody was discussing it. Politics is just funny. They normally say that politics is a game of numbers. And you see, it gets interesting when both sides of the party start exposing each other. And of course, you'll just sit down there and get shocked. Others will laugh. Anyway, I don't know what to think about that. If you remember that particular situation, you can comment down below. So as much as people are unhappy with the government, they also admit that Andrew Holness is still a strong political commentator and not commentator, communicator. That means that when you stand up, you command respect, you command to be listened. And by the virtue of him coming out and speaking confidently, controlling the room well, and connecting with the people, it has really helped him so much, even a lot. So I don't know what you think about that, guys, and I would urge you to kindly comment down below. I don't know, do you think that Mark Golding can actually beat Andrew Holness in case there is an election like today or even this week? Let me know in the comment section below. I really need to know what you think about this particular story. So the next election, the conversation surrounding it will likely become more controversial, more discussed, and we expect more debates, more accusation, more clips, more expose, and it's gonna get interesting, by the way. So thank you so much. If you watched the clip up to this point, I do appreciate your presence. I'll see you in the next video. Same time, guys, every day.